Let me tell you guys, I have waited so many years to see this book come to life. And the fact that to say that I have already seen it feels like some sort of bizarre life accomplishment. The Scorch trials picks up right where the Maze Runner left off, and we see that Thomas and his fellow gladers have been taken to a wicked compound, the organization that put them there in the maze in the first place, and they discover that the world that they live in has been scorched by the sun, basically making it this very hot desert wasteland, and they have to decide whether or not to trust Wicked and be part of their experiments to find a cure, or break out and try to find hope in the Scorch. Now, I was a massive fan of The Maze Runner. I loved that movie so much. It was exciting, thrilling, and as someone who was a massive fan of the book series by James Dashner, I thought it was an awesome adaptation. Yes, there were changes, but what Westball did, I bought into it. I bought into his world, and I found that those changes were justifiable. So going into the Scorch trials, I would say my expectations were pretty freaking high. And as someone who loves this book, and he would even call it one of his favorite young adult novels that he's read, let me tell you guys, walking out of this movie, seeing this book brought to life, a book that you love, I was disappointed. I was disappointed in the book-to-movie adaptation of The Scorch Trials. Now wait. Just because I said I was disappointed in this book-to-movie adaptation does not mean that I necessarily think this is a bad movie. No, I don't. I actually think this is a very entertaining movie because I was definitely entertained and even thrilled while watching this movie. I had a good time watching this film. Where I think this movie falls flat is in a book-to-movie adaptation. You know, the first film, I bought into the changes. I found them justifiable. But in this movie, I kept asking the question, why? Why make that change? Why go that direction? Why are we following this plot line instead of the book plot line? Why are we doing that? And in my opinion, when you're asking the question why and not accepting the film as a whole, I feel like that's where you know a film has failed. Now look, I think this is worth mentioning. Some fans are going to buy into the changes. They're going to buy into the world. They're going to not ask those questions why. But for me, why was the question that I kept asking throughout this film. And I will admit, I will be that fan. I wanted it to follow the book line more. I'm sorry, I did. I felt like the book storyline was a lot more coherent, had a lot more going for it, and it was a lot more thrilling than the movie storyline. And I think if you haven't read the books and really enjoyed the first movie, you're probably really gonna like this movie as well, so definitely go see it. And also, for fans, I still recommend that you go see this movie. Even if you're disappointed, I think it's still worth watching because I do think there's a lot that happens in this movie that is going to entertain you. Now, in terms of the things that I really liked about this movie, I think this movie is both visually and cinematically well-pleasing. I mean, the movie looks great. It's well-directed. I mean, there are some shots in this movie that were just beautiful to look at. One where they're walking over the desert, I was like, yes, I could sit in the shot forever. And also, the action sequences in this movie are fantastic. There's one where they're scaling up a building that is so fantastic, and the payoff to that scene is great. They're also being chased by cranks in this movie, which was really, really fun. And by the way, the cranks in this movie are awesome. They're different than how they are in the book, but it's one of those changes that happens that I found justifiable. Also, the acting in this movie is great. I thought all the actors in this movie are really well done, and Dylan O'Brien as the lead once again proves that he is a leader. He is so fantastic in this movie. He's absolutely the perfect Thomas. And I thought Kaya Scodolio as Teresa did a lot of work as well. And Brenda, the girl who plays Brenda in this movie, I've forgotten her name, but she was really good as well as one of the newcomers that comes along. Overall, The Scorch Trials is a fun and exciting film that has a lot of great thrilling moments, but falls flat in terms of a book-to-movie adaptation. As the score goes, I'm going to give The Scorch Trials a 3 out of 5. So gladers and movie watchers out there, what did you think of The Scorch Trials? I hope you're not disappointed in me for being disappointed in the film. I'm still really looking forward to The Death Cure, so make sure to let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of this film? And until next time, you guys, I'm the Slash Me Reviewer, and you guys have just been slashed.